Hello, hello, hello. Oh, goodness. Today I'm going to speak on a topic which will shock you. And the topic is, why do I consider Dubai as the number one place? Okay, Dubai, I consider Dubai the best number one destination for work, career, or not a future, but for a short-term stint of a business. Why? Now you must be thinking, what? Is Loy fucking drunk? Did someone put a gun to his head last night and say, we will murder your family if you don't put this video and say Dubai is number one? Or maybe a rich Emirati gave him $1 million to say this. Or maybe Loy's channel is now sponsored by UAE, or some UAE rich sheikh came, or maybe a hitman came and told him, tomorrow, don't put this video, you're going to die. Okay, none of that, although I would gladly prefer not that would happen. But I don't mind the 1 million, to be honest with you. That is a welcome. Any Dubai, UAE personality, rich man, businessman wants to give me $1 million, not dirhams, or not baht, not rupees. I keep myself very open to be bribed. Okay, so why do I say that Dubai is number one, still number one? Okay, and let me also answer the question, do I have a mental or personality disorder? Like, on one hand I keep talking shit about Dubai and then I say Dubai is number one. Man, do you have a personality disorder? What's fucking wrong with you? What is Dubai? Bad or good? Okay, let's get the first thing out of the way. Dubai is, if anybody asks me, if anybody sends me an email. In fact, yesterday I got a guy who sent me an email. Pretty sure he must be from the West. I also had, in this week, I had one person who took my consulting session and asked me, is Dubai a good place to migrate? Okay. And when I told that person yes, okay, the person was absolutely shocked. He said, what? He's saying, are you really Loy? Yeah, I said, yeah, you can put on the video and you can see for yourself. So the person put on the video and said, you're saying Dubai is actually a good place? I said, yes. He's saying, then I'm confused. You're bitching about Dubai on your videos, and now when I book the session, you're telling me it's good. He's saying, I'm totally confused. Which one is it? So, why do I say this? Why am I telling you in this video that Dubai is still number one? It is still the best place to be. Okay, now here are my reasons. Now it depends on what context you're looking at, and depends on what situation, depends on what area. Okay, now let me get the second thing out of the way. The first thing was, yes, I admit Dubai is number one. The second part which I need to get out of the way is, if I'm telling you in this video that Dubai is number one, why do I talk shit about Dubai? Why do I highlight the negative things about Dubai? Okay, here's my answer to you. When you just get into a relationship with a boyfriend and girlfriend, okay, when you just get into a relationship, do you have wonderful memories with that person or bad memories? Obviously good. Do you have sweet sounding words? Yes, you do. Do you have amazing expectations? Yes, you do. Do you overly exaggerate your undying love for each other? Yes, you do. Because in the beginning of a relationship, it's called a honeymoon phase. Even in a marriage, initially it's like, oh, I love you, I'll die for you, I'll be with you no matter what, and this and that. And when you have a new boyfriend, girlfriend, I'll make love to you. I'll put my tongue here. You can come on my face, come in my mouth. I want you to fuck me the whole night and this and that. And I will die for you. I'll pull the stars from the sky, very far. Still they'll do. I don't know how they do the star bit. Hi, doggy. I'll do the star. Moon also. Moon which is a satellite. Such a big. I'll bring the moon. I don't know how they do that. So we talk a lot of shit and nonsense. Go. So people tend to say a lot of things when they get into a relationship. But what happens afterwards? What happens after the honeymoon phase is over? Anyone getting moon and stars? Anyone making love 24/7? Anyone doing all those ridiculously physically disgusting stuff which we enjoy in sex? They do that? No, they don't do that. Okay. Second example. When you're writing your CV, do you write the truth or do you tell all exaggerated bullshit? The truth is, you get bored easily, you're an average employee, you gossip, you spread rumors, you're into politics, you're overly ambitious, you would betray your company for more money. And the employer, he tells you this is a great working environment, there's a great future, there's a great career. Do you seriously think that the company you're working for has a great career, great future, open door policy and all that bullshit? No. But people tend to state all this bullshit, right? Okay, third one. We all know at some point in our lives, we are going to get married, have children, okay? So, would you recommend each and every person to get married? And if yes, would you tell them get married quickly? Is there any guarantee that the marriage will succeed? If that was the case, why divorces take place? And one last example. The easiest way to get rich in the world, easiest way, is to run a business. Correct? But then why so many people who run a business lose everything and fail? In fact, why is it 90% of the people who run a business end up losing everything within the first few years, and within 10 years up to 95? So just imagine, I'm giving you just rough stats, it's not exact stats. How many people who run a business after 10 years are still running a business? Very few. Most of them live hand to mouth or whatever they earn, and there's a peak season and then there is nothing else. So I gave you all these examples, from relationship to bullshitting on your resume, to the bullshit employers gave, to marriages going in a divorce, okay, to the realities of life. So now, just like that, Dubai also has an ugly side. Dubai also has drawbacks. The life in Dubai is not all rosy. It's not what they show you on Instagram, sitting on the yacht, looking outside, girls with a bikini, lovely breasts and an ass, and all those are filtered shots. All those are selecting the best picture of the lot. All those are, maybe you rented out the Lamborghini or the yacht, or you're standing next to someone's house showing off. See, people tend to exaggerate things to sell. So now Dubai has its drawbacks, correct? But now the question is, can you talk about the drawbacks when you're in Dubai? You can't. My open challenge to you, how many people in Dubai can highlight the drawbacks about Dubai? How many employees can talk shit about the employer? He'll fucking take your ass to court. How many of you can tell the truth about a guy or girl you're dating? No, they can sue you for defamation. So when you have all these rules which prevent you from telling the truth or your version of the truth, but you have only one side of the story which only portrays a positive side, so what do you want? You want do you just want to hear the good stuff? In fact, let me ask you this. Mine is the channel that speaks about the drawbacks of UAE, okay? How many channels do you know that keep putting out such information? How many? Al Jazeera? Well, that's a big corporation. How many small YouTubers? I'm the only one. And what makes my channel unique is the fact that I've spent 40 years in UAE. Okay, so I know the ins and outs. I know the ins and outs. Now, many people say, Aloy, why don't you talk about USA? Why don't you talk about your country, India? Agreed, India is my country. I've never fucking been there. If you ask me where is, example, Amritsar, or where is, I don't know, someplace, Bihar, I don't know. If you ask me where is Lucknow, I don't know. If you tell me how far, which state is maybe, I don't know, what is Madhya Pradesh, or, I'm just rattling off what I read in history books. You ask me anything of historical significance, I don't know anything. In fact, what do I know about India? Only when I had gone there for holiday or my operation, or that's it. So if I start speaking about India, I can get challenged. What the fuck do you know about India? Have you stayed in India? Do you know I can give them only limited information of my experiences. But I've never stayed there for years, man. Why do you think I don't talk about the job opportunities in India? Why do you think I don't talk about the street life in India? I can just give you vagaries. See, in one place I've spent 40 years, been there, lived there. The other place I've just been there for 8 months. Which one you think I have more credible information? It's like talking of using an Apple product, an iMac, without owning an iMac. How can you talk about it, man? So the only experience I have is UAE. So now what makes UAE number one? Now that we have got that part out, what makes UAE number one? And in what context do I mean this? And why am I saying this today? Okay, what happened was after the client booked my session and asked me about Dubai, and I told him, yes, Dubai is the place. And then I got one email also yesterday from a guy, I don't know, somebody from Europe or the West. Said, do you think it's worthwhile going to Dubai? I said, absolutely. So now, why did I say this, and what context? See, because what context is very simple. Now, for what purpose is number one? If you're talking of citizenship, no, absolutely not. If you're talking of having a family life, let's say for you, your wife, your children, to stay long term, absolutely not. Because they will be no man's land, your children. If you're talking about running a business, oh yes, very much. If you're talking of making quick money and easy money, provided you know the system, the strategies, provided you know what to do, absolutely yes. Is there when you compare to Saudi, Kuwait, Bahrain, Oman, is UAE much better to make money? Oh, 100 times more. When you compare UAE to Kuwait, UAE is better. UAE to Oman, UAE is better. UAE to Saudi, UAE is better. UAE to Bahrain, any of the Middle East country, UAE to Qatar, UAE is better. Okay. Now, why do I point this? Because it's very simple. The laws, the rules, the regulations, the freedom, the business opportunities, the vision of the leaders. Okay. See, all this has helped. But that doesn't mean there are no drawbacks. I highlight the drawbacks because people live in a bubble world where they think Dubai is the solution to all their problems. Now, let me tell you where, if you go to Dubai, it's a disaster. If you have miserably failed in your country, wherever, India, Pakistan, wherever, you're miserably failed, you have no money, and you're thinking to come to Dubai, and you think that is going to solve all your problems, no, it's not going to solve anything. It will solve in certain areas, like maybe money, you learn a little bit more, but then it will compound, not just increase, compound in many, many other areas. Okay, like for example, let's say you are just an average salesman in Pakistan or India. When you go to Dubai, maybe you will earn more, yes, but you're not going to become an extraordinary salesman in Dubai. You're not going to save so much because the expenses are high. And given the temptations that are there, you'll most likely be trapped into all this. And before you know it, one bad decision after another it's like from frying pan to the fire. So personally speaking, whenever a client speaks to me and asks me, should I go to Dubai, I evaluate their profile. If you're just an average guy with no common sense and even your resume is not done proper, you don't know how to even fucking talk, and you have that self-entitled attitude, I tell them, you're going to get fucked in Dubai. Don't even fucking bother to go there. Just imagine, there are so many people who don't have experience, zero experience of UAE, don't have a driving license, don't know anything about UAE, the culture, the tradition, the norms, the clients, the customers, the working of the economy. And they say, I want to go to Dubai. Okay, fine. What do you want to do? Oh, I want to do administration or HR or sales. Okay. What is the income you're planning? Oh, $10,000 or $15,000. Okay, what are you earning in India? Oh, India, I'm earning $1,000. From $1,000, you earn $20,000. I'm not telling you lies. There have been idiots who have told me this, booked my session and said, I want to get 20 times more the salary, 10 times, 20 times. Tell me, how is it possible? And when I asked them, from where did you come up with this this logical analysis or statement or belief? He's saying, yeah, so many of my friends are earning big money and having a good life. I said, your friend is not you. You are not your friend. So when did your friend... Now, when I ask them specific questions, and you find out where they are stupid. Okay, when did your friend leave to Dubai? Oh, he left 15 years ago. He left to Dubai. Today is earning... Yeah, 15 years ago, it was different. You can't just go to Dubai and earn what he has been working on for 15 years, man. People don't use their common sense. See, always remember, there are two sides to every argument. Okay, and always keep a balanced perspective. Yes, I highlight the drawbacks of Dubai. Why? Because nobody else is doing it. Nobody talks about it. Everyone just fucking falls for the hype. In fact, just search on LinkedIn, search on Facebook. Hey doggy, you keep coming, you want to get petted? Hey doggy. So check how many people on LinkedIn and Facebook who are marketing their services about Dubai. Oh, Dubai, you can have a good life, you can enjoy your life, you can earn a 6-figure income, 7-figure income. Even the government is misleading. Oh, get a visa for only 530 and start your business. 500 dirhams, what business you're going to start? Some people, really stupid ones, think 500 dirhams, they can get a visa to stay in UAE along with opening up a business. Can you believe? And there are scammers and fraudsters who paint such a beautiful picture. Do you know how many people have taken bank loans, sold off their parents' properties, taken land, sold off their land, sold off everything they had because they assumed going to Dubai, they are going to earn very big money. How many people? And they end up getting... In fact, do you know ENOC? You know ENOC? Emirates National Oil Corporation. These people, the agents, it's not ENOC, the agents advertised in Bombay and different parts of India, this is many years ago, they advertised the job, that is, you will meet international clients from the West, you'll be in a global atmosphere, you'll get world-class training, the sky's the limit for your growth, you'll be working in a multi-billion-dollar company, and you'll be given worldwide recognition, and every day you'll be dealing clients with international repute and all that bullshit they give them. And these people were so eager to come to Dubai, and they came running. After they came running, what happened? That job description that I gave you is a petrol attendant. Just imagine. The way it was being portrayed was as if you're going to work for Google or Oracle. But when they came there, they were supposed to work for EPCO in a petrol station, filling up petrol in a car as a gas attendant for 10 to 12 hours in the sun. Tell me, is that international? So ENOC was not the one who cheated people. They just told the agents, get the people and let them come here. But these agents, they took them for a ride. In fact, how many people come down to UAE and think this is such an amazing place and I'm going to settle down here forever, take a bank loan, take a credit card, take multiple, put themselves into debt, take a car on a loan, take a house on a loan. See, you need to highlight these bad decisions. You need to highlight the dangers of doing all this. So, like I said, if you do not have a strategy, if you do not know what you're doing and you just jump into UAE, you're going to get fucked. But if you have a strategy in place, if you take it, using your common sense and being smart, you're going to make good money. In fact, let me tell you this. UAE is the only place in the world, out of all, Saudi, Qatar, Bahrain, Oman, all these places, UAE is the only place in the world where a businessman can break even within a year or 2 years. Nowhere else, not India, not Pakistan, not anywhere else can you do that. When they say there is no tax, to be honest, there is no tax. Yes, the standard of living is very high. There are a lot of hidden expenses. But honestly, there is no tax. And see, when you compare Emiratis with all other nationalities, UAE Emiratis are much better than Kuwaitis. UAE, okay, Omani nationals are even more better. Omani nationals, they are the best, okay, when you compare. But UAE Emiratis, the real ones, the ones who have been brought up in a tough way, they're very nice people, man. I might make fun of, most of the low class or the, everyday, there are hooligans and there are idiots. But majority of the Emiratis who I have interacted with, they are nice people. They're not bad people. If you go talk to an Emirati today, he's not going to be a bad person. But it depends where you're going. If you're going to a nightclub and there you get a guy who's drunk, obviously he'll be an asshole. Like Indians, generally, they are okay, but majority are fucked up. And I know this. I'm an Indian passport holder. I can tell you this. Oh, and I'll tell you, in the four walls of anonymity, an Indian is, keep away from them. See, there are some characteristics that are deeply rooted. I am more comfortable with an Emirati than an Indian. I'm sorry to say, but this is a fact. Why? Because an Emirati is, they are exposed to different cultures. They are exposed to different people, different realities. But yes, they have their limitations where their religion is concerned. Where their religion and their nationality is concerned, okay, fine. Indians, on the other hand, are because they are only surrounded by Indians, they have a very clannish outlook. So there are a lot of factors. So what I'm trying to tell you through this video is, Dubai has plenty of amazing opportunities, plenty of benefits, plenty of perks. And that is why people get shocked when they send me an email, Loy, is Dubai a good place? Yes, Dubai is a good place. In fact, even when you're in the COVID crisis or in the recession, I will still tell you Dubai is the best. But it depends. See, listen carefully. Dubai is the best, but it depends from person to person. It depends from career to career. It depends what is your strategy. If you just woke up, you're a nothing and nobody in, let's say, UK or Australia or India. You're just an average bum, okay? You are just a self-entitled prick. You live on government grants or favors. Or let's assume you have never traveled to the UAE, okay? You have been, let's say, in India, earning a big fat paycheck. All of a sudden you say, okay, I'll go to Dubai, change my life, have a better income, have a better standard of living, fine. You're going to fail. You're going to fail 100% because you just decided to go down there without a strategy. In fact, I remember a few days ago, I spoke to a lady, very successful HR person, very successful, working at a level of a director. I don't know what fucking prompted her. She had come to UAE for a holiday. She enjoyed it. She came for a second holiday. She enjoyed it. She came for a third. She enjoyed it, well to do. What she did, she resigned from her company and she came down to the UAE to hunt for a job. What is the salary that she was looking for? She was looking in the range of 15 to 20,000 US dollars. Imagine 15 to 20,000 US dollars per month as an HR director. I asked her, what experience do you have in UAE? Zero. What do you know of the UAE market? Oh, I know. What do you know? Yeah, I've been here 3 times for holiday. 3 times for holiday? So you spend what, 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 6 weeks? Yeah. And where did you go? No, for hunting for a job? No, I didn't go anywhere. I just went for holiday. What the fuck is that? Okay, which companies have you applied for? Oh, I applied for all the recruitment websites. What? Do you have a driver's license? No. Do you know different parts of UAE? No. Do you have contacts and connections? No. And when I checked the CV, her CV was typical, the Indian CV. How the fuck would you get a job? And I told her, I'm sorry, you're not going to get a job. You not even a salary for $1,000. Forget $20,000. You won't even get for $1,000. She got very angry. She got very offended. She said, "You're insulting me." I said, "No, you booked my session to hear the truth. I'm telling you the fucking truth." She didn't like it. She just put the phone down on my face. Oh, lo and behold, guess what happened? She didn't get anything. And I don't think she's going to get anything. I can openly challenge, she will go back. She will go back with the tail between her legs. How the fuck can you? It's like me, after being a director in Dubai, I go to Canada or I go to USA without knowing anything, and I put my CV and I say, I want to be a director here. I want to be the head of a company. Without knowing the culture, the tradition, the market, the people, the laws, nothing. See, this is the level of ignorance we're talking about. But if you look on the other side, the people who are prepared, who go with a worthwhile strategy, who go with guidance. See, I can only speak for the people whom I have guided. Okay? And yes, I have met over the period of years, even before I did this full time, people who have incredible success. Okay? They started off, they were there in Dubai at the right time, at the right place, at the right situation. They made a lot of money. But like I said, two sides of the coin. But in a nutshell, if I were to summarize, look, marriage is not for everyone. I'm sure you'll agree with that. That is why there are many divorces. And even in marriage, even if you're marriage material, but you marry the wrong person, the marriage will not work out. Working for a company, not everyone is going to succeed and become the CEO. Okay, many people will be stuck at one level for the rest of their life, earning the same salary or maybe 5 or 10% more in their whole lifetime. Careers, marriages, even business. How many people who start a business you think are going to become like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or multimillionaires? Nobody. They are just one of a kind. The rest of them, yes, will make money. The majority of them will struggle. And almost everyone we know will struggle to make ends meet, and they will shut down when times are bad. Best example is this COVID crisis. So just like that, Dubai has plenty of plus points, but it's not a magic pill that you take and your problems will go. There is a method to the madness. There is a way to do it, to succeed. Just as in bodybuilding, if you go natural, yes, you're going to get a little bit of progress, but it's going to stop at some point. If you want to grow and succeed professionally or competitively, you have to take steroids. But none of the professional athletes will talk about it. Even in movies, if you want to succeed in the movie industry, you think it's only hard work, you think it's only acting, you think it's only praying to God and you're going to get... No, you'll have to lend your ass, you'll have to open your legs, you'll have to put stuff in your mouth, you'll have to play the game of politics, you'll have to work for free, and this you'll have to do for years and years. And even after that, maybe there is no guarantee you'll succeed. How many film actors and actresses who reached levels of success have vanished, have disappeared, have failed? How many? So in the same way for Dubai, there is a plus point, there is a plus side, there is a negative side. The reason I talk about the negative side is because nobody else is talking about it. And given the fact I have so many years experience, I educate people. But having said that, in my experience, when I see other countries, when I see the laws, the policies and all that, I can tell you without a doubt, Dubai is the best. Even when you compare USA, Canada and all that, for citizenship, yes, they are much more better. For human rights, for protection, for unemployment benefits, all that, they are the best. There, Dubai is cold-blooded. Okay, it's a business hub. You're of no use, bye-bye. Go back to your country. If you're looking for a future for your children and for yourself, no, the day you're useless, it's bye-bye. There are drawbacks. But the plus side, let's not ignore that. See, why are people still in UAE? Why do people still go to UAE? Why people are still, even the demand will continue even later on, is because there are amazing plus points. But like I said, without a strategy, please don't go there. Without a strategy, do not even think of going to UAE. It's like going into a casino, going into a gambling den without any idea what you're going to do, taking all your life savings and assuming that you're going to make millions. No, the house always wins. So I hope this video gave you some insight and makes you understand why I still endorse Dubai, why I still tell my clients Dubai is the best if you want to go and make money. But it is all dependent on your profile. It is all dependent on your strategy. It is all dependent on who you are. Simply just because you read something on the internet, saw some bloody videos, decide to run to UAE and think you're going to succeed. You'll end up with nothing, nobody, and you'll come back with your tail between your legs. So I hope this gave you a perspective. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And yeah, tell me how surprised you were with this video. I still love UAE deep down inside. I still want UAE to succeed, and it's my childhood, man. I will highlight the drawbacks, but in the end, at the end of the day, Dubai has plenty of good stuff, blessings, worthwhile benefits, which I doubt most other countries can offer. Anyway, yin and yang, good and bad, plus and minus. I hope this video gave you some insights. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. This is me signing off. You guys take care.